All right, settle down everyone. First off, let me just throw out a quick apology for this absolute train wreck of Modern Warfare gameplay. You're witnessing, I know, I look like a grandpa trying to figure out a smartphone. I didn't grow up glued to this particular game, and let's be real, it's a totally different beast from Black Ops 2, my true love. But hey, we're not here for my subpar gaming skills. We're here to talk about something far more important. Something that could actually put money in your pocket. Unlike my kill-death ratio. So, let's dive straight into it, because honestly, there is legitimately no easier, no faster, no less brain-damaging way to start developing some sweet passive income than by creating a high-yield savings account, or as the cool kids and I like to call it, a HISA. I actually stumbled upon these magical money machines just in the last year, and let me tell you, it was like finding out I could get paid to breathe. I've been absolutely buzzing about them ever since. And now I'm that annoying friend who corners everyone without one, practically yelling at them to open an account yesterday. For those of you living under a rock, or maybe just really committed to traditional banks, a high-yield savings account, as the name oh so cleverly suggests, is a savings account that pays you significantly more interest than your dusty old checking account, or even your pathetic regular savings account. And when I say significantly more, I'm not talking about a couple extra pennies. We're talking about 300 to 400 times more. On average, I mean most of your big-name banks, bless their hearts, they pay about 1 to 0.02% each month, which, and I'm being generous here, is quite literally a couple of pennies. Maybe I'm being a bit of a drama queen, a bit of a cherry picker, but compare that to an account that's paying 3.8% a year. Now, if you've got, say, $3,200 chilling in there, that's $10 a month for doing absolutely nothing. First of all, that's about 1,000 times better than 3 pennies, right? But more importantly, that $10 literally pays for your Netflix subscription, or whatever other streaming service is currently devouring your disposable income. It's free money, people, free money. I know, it may not sound like a fortune, and let's be honest, it's not. I mean, that's not even really the main point. Anyway, the whole point of a HISA is to be low risk, low reward, and it absolutely crushes it at that job. It does a pretty damn good job of just being chill. But regardless, it is still significantly better than letting your money stagnate in a regular checking or savings account. And on top of all that juicy interest, all your money is FDIC insured by most banks, up to $250,000. That's $250,000. So unless you're Scrooge McDuck, your money is safe. My boss, for example, she has about $12,000 in her high-yield savings, and she gets paid like $45 a month for doing nothing. That's a free gym membership right there. Or a good chunk of gas money. Whatever you're using it for, it's free money. And whether you're rocking a Dave Ramsey-inspired $1,000 emergency fund, or you're diligently saving up for a car, or maybe you're just crushing it and have 6 months' worth of expenses squirreled away, there is absolutely no reason, none whatsoever, to not have a high-yield savings account. You're just leaving money on the table, folks. And that's just dumb now that we've gotten that little public service announcement out of the way. Let's take a quick peek at some of the contenders in the HISA arena. So really, the main things you want to eyeball when you're shopping for a high-yield savings account are 1. The yield. Obviously, that's probably like the very first thing you look at, right? And then immediately after that, you're looking at monthly fees or minimum deposits. I guess minimum deposits can kind of be whatever you feel like. You know, if you can actually afford a minimum deposit, then by all means go for it. But monthly fees, those are a 4. Sure, no, you absolutely do not want to be spending more money than you're making, or really, spending any money at all to keep this account open. That completely defeats the entire purpose of this magical money-making machine. So after doing some highly extensive research, which mostly involved clicking on the first link I saw from Bankrate, full disclosure, these are sponsored by Bankrate, but hey, they still get the job done. It doesn't make them any less of an account or anything. So let me quickly run through them and all their dazzling specifications. Real quick, first on our hit list is American Express Savings. Right now, they're paying 3.7% with no minimum deposit and 0 monthly fees, and apparently, they've got 24/7 customer support, which is always a plus, you know, for those late-night money anxieties. Next up, we've got Capital One. They're also dishing out 3.7%, and actually, full confession here, I use Capital One. That's where I stash my own high-yield savings. No minimum deposit, no monthly fee, and you can even deposit checks through their super convenient mobile app. I'm sure you can tell by my subscriber count that I am absolutely not sponsored by Capital One. But hey, a girl can dream, right? That would be pretty cool. Moving right along to the next bank, Everbank. Yes, that's literally the name of it. Everbank, they're currently leading the pack at 4.3%. That is pretty damn good. Nothing new to report here though. Still no monthly fee, no minimum deposits. Pretty much the same sweet deal as the others. Other than that killer rate. Honestly, there's not much else to say about them. They're just consistently good. Then we have Genius Bank, spelled with a J, as in J-E. I use not like actual genius, although they're pretty smart, with that 4.2 APY, which is very good. Still no minimum deposit, no monthly fee, and apparently they even boast 24/7 client help from actual human beings, so you don't have to wrestle with annoying robots. Sorry, ChatGPT, but sometimes I just need to talk to a real person. Next, they're trying to tell me about Citibank, and honestly, I'm just going to skip that one. It's trash. The minimum account is $100. But the minimum to actually get that sweet 4.10 API is a whopping $5,000. Yeah, hard pass. We're definitely skipping that one, even though I just told you everything about them. Whoops. And finally, we have Texas Capital Bank, and they've got a 4.4% rate, but this one's exclusively for Texans apparently, and it goes up to $1 million, all FDIC insured. So if you're some lucky Texan with $1 million lying around, that's $44,000 a year for doing absolutely nothing. Just for being a Texan. Sorry everybody else, you're out of luck on that one. So that pretty much wraps up the bank rate lineup. There are tons of other high-yield savings accounts out there from different companies. I've heard good things about Laurel Road SoFi. Just do a quick YouTube or Google search. You'll find so many that fit your needs, so I really hope you understand the absolute significance of everything I just dumped on you, and honestly, I just did most of the legwork for you. So there's truly no excuse not to go open an account with one of these companies. Like right now, what are you waiting for? A personal invitation from the CEO. But now that we've got that extremely important piece of information out of the way, let me tell you about something that might just be even better. This, my friends, holds a very special place in every dividend investor's heart. It's SAG Charles Schwab US Dividend ETF. It's kind of similar to a stock, but not really. Think of it like a fancy basket, an ETF that invests in a bunch of different companies, specifically the ones that pay dividends, and its main goal is to track as closely as possible the Dow Jones Dividend US 100 Index. Right now, it's got 104 holdings, and the top 10 are like a who's who of solid companies, names like ConocoPhillips, Chevron, Verizon, Bristol-Myers, Squibb, Coca-Cola, Amgen, Cisco, AbbVie, Altria, and Pepsi. The expense ratio, which is basically the fee you pay to own it, is a super low 0.06%. And if you have no idea what an expense ratio is, don't worry, I'll probably make a short about it because, well, I need content. But right now, it's paying 3.5% in dividends. And I know, that's not as much as the high-yield savings account right now. Although, fun fact, a couple weeks ago, it was actually at 3.8%. But the real key with SHD, the secret sauce, is that you have so much room for upside potential. Yes, I know, this can be a bit of a double-edged sword because in theory, it could go down. But generally speaking, because it's a fund, it tends to just go up over time, kind of like the SP 500. You just got to give it enough time. You got to be patient, you got to let it cook. So not only are you making money from the dividends it's paying you every quarter, but you also make money as the ETF itself goes up in value. It's a win, folks. A beautiful, beautiful win. Win, me bad, guys. I'm just realizing now that you can probably hear my fan buzzing like a hornet's nest throughout this entire video. I thought my little guard thingy was enough, but clearly I was wrong. Next time, I'll be sure to have it off for my recording. Lesson learned. With that being said, if anyone actually ends up watching this video who doesn't already know me, I just want to put it out there. I'm just a 20-year-old dude, right? I still have an insane amount to learn, and honestly, I'm hoping to use this channel as a vehicle to learn a ton myself. But one thing that consistently kind of scratches my head that confuses me is this whole average annualized percentage return thing. And not because they're inherently confusing, but because I've seen several like actively managed funds and even SHD itself that perform better than something like the SP 500. But everyone, and I mean everyone, says that actively managed funds, for example, don't end up performing better in the long run. Maybe I'm just missing something obvious here, but there was one I saw that averaged like 13 or 14% since 1967. So if anyone out there has any brilliant insights, maybe I'm just completely blind to something. I don't know. Please, for the love of all that is financially holy, let me know in the comments. I'm all ears. But back to our star player, SHD. SHD has had an average annualized percentage return of 13% per year since its inception in 2011. And let me tell you, that is very, very good. A lot of people, especially those nearing retirement, rely on it heavily for its consistent cash flow, and a significant chunk of serious dividend investors also have a healthy portion of SHD in their portfolio. And guess what? Your boy right here, I am one of them. I've got a couple grand, that's a couple $1,000s in my high-yield savings at Capital One, but I also decided to throw about $700 into SHD. And honestly, it's been working out nicely. I'm enjoying the ride. So if you're thinking you might want to put some of your hard-earned cash into SHD, it might actually be a pretty good time right now. It's currently down about 6.5% from its high in November of last year, and it's generally a slow-moving ETF. It's not going to make you rich overnight. It might even be kind of boring. But honestly, investing in general is kind of boring. I hate to admit it. It can be boring. It is boring, but I still enjoy it. And let me tell you something. No middle-aged person, no one looking back at their financial journey is going to wish they invested less money. Trust me on that one. But that, my friends, pretty much wraps up my video. I truly hope you got some serious value out of it, and I really, really hope you take my advice. I know, I'm just some 20-year-old kid, and in the grand scheme of things, I still have a mountain of knowledge to gain about finance, but I'd like to think I know a little bit more than the average person, and more importantly, I'd like to think I can actually help some people. So stay boring, stay patient, peace.